Hey reseller friends, welcome to the Vendoo YouTube. I'm Erin, product specialist at Vendoo, and I'm also a reseller. And today we're going to be talking about one of the most tough parts about reselling, doing buyouts. You've probably had friends that know you resell, or even strangers that you've connected with while looking for inventory to source that have asked you to take a look at items and hopefully purchase them. This can be difficult to navigate. You have to look at items on the spot, be able to quickly value them, and then come up with a price and then an awkward negotiation process. So let's talk about bargains and buyouts, navigating that tough process as a reseller. But before we do, let me invite you to subscribe to our channel. We publish content all the time, and it's all related to Vendoo product updates, community tips, and information about how to scale and grow your resale business. So, buyouts. You have an opportunity to purchase inventory. Whether it's because a reseller is quitting reselling, it's a friend that wants to try to recoup a little cash for their items like I have behind me, or you're doing community outreach. You're going on Nextdoor and your local Facebook pages, advertising that you're a reseller and that you're interested in purchasing items. I have done this more times than I can count. I have found myself in Dunkin' Donuts, in gas station parking lots, looking through clothing while the owner stares at me, hoping that we can make a deal that's mutually beneficial. So before we even start, I have some tips. Okay, first, and this is super important, set reasonable expectations. I always explain that I purchase things for yard sale prices. Most people know that that means like dollars, if that. I am super transparent. I say that I will only give you a very small fraction of your original purchase price. I explain that they could definitely make more money selling things themselves. And I explain how the business works a little bit. That I acquire inventory, I enter it into an inventory management system, I have to process it, I have to photograph it, I edit photos, I pay for softwares that help me with every step of this process, I take time to list it on multiple marketplaces, I administrate the listings, accepting offers, answering questions, I package it upon sale, I pay taxes, there are marketplace fees, I pay employees. For all of these reasons, I require a low cost of goods for it to be profitable. I also require a certain quality of items. I'm not at this time interested in department store brands, for example, or lower end mall brands. Of course, your cost of goods, your quality of inventory, that will vary for anyone. But setting super reasonable expectations in respect for your time and of course other people's is super important. My second tip is not to be afraid to not make a deal. Okay? I know that you might be really excited for new inventory, but really you have to be methodological when you're looking at pieces and when you're considering not only the cost of goods and the return on investment, but the one thing we always forget, our time. Okay? Even if you can get something for 50 cents, and even if it will sell for $15, that percentage in theory sounds amazing. But if you consider the time and an appropriate payment for your time, it's getting a little less amazing. So just be super mindful and business oriented, which our business is so fun and flexible that we sometimes forget to be. Okay, my next tip is to take your time. Really examine each piece, especially for condition, okay? Look at every single thing. Do not be afraid to run a few quick comps. Do not be afraid to take a few notes. It can be particularly awkward when the person's standing there staring at you, but you're making calculated business decisions for which most people should respect. That brings me to my next tip, and that is to bring a notepad. As you navigate the items, especially if you have a lot of items, there are 7 of these tote boxes right here. You definitely want to take some notes. And you can categorize this in a number of ways, right? Take notes as to what you're entirely not interested in, what you might be, and what you are. and then make subcategorizations of the items that you're interested in based on what you anticipate your ROI can be. Because with these notes and these calculations, you're better able to formulate a potential price to make an offer. And that leads me to my next tip. In a moment, you'll see me go through these and kind of calculate how I would categorize and how I would take notes based on my business. Of course, you need to make that your own for your business. But my next one is that negotiation is the name of the game. What I generally do is I look at every single item, I make my calculations, and I formulate a magic number in my head that would be beneficial for me to purchase items for. However, I will first ask the owner of these clothing or these items if they have a number in mind. And if they have a number in mind that's entirely reasonable, wonderful. I'll still offer just below it though. And if they don't, and I'm the one in the awkward position of making the first offer, of course I'm going to offer lower. Negotiation is supposed to classically and traditionally be a back and forth, a give and take, and a compromise to something hopefully mutually agreeable. So let's look at what's in one of these bins. I'm pumped. So when I'm reviewing pieces for a potential buyout, this is kind of my method. And of course, you'll want to make this your own. I have the luxury of the owner not being here because she dropped it off for my review. So that makes this a lot better and less intimidating. But sometimes you'll do this right in front of the owner while they stare at you. It can be awkward. Just take your time and relax. So what I will do as I go through items is I make either physical piles, depending on the size, or I use my notebook to take physical notes. What I'm doing is I'm separating things, right? There's one pile of stuff I do not want. I will not sell it under any circumstances. The next pile is maybe if the price is right, would I want these pieces? And the next pile is yes. I might even do subcategorizations of yes by like absolutely, or by yes, but this is a much higher resale value. American Eagle jeans are a yes, but a designer bag's also a yes. So those kind of need different yes piles, right? Based on value. And I will go through and either, like I said, physical piles or mental notes or physical notes as to which pieces I would like and how many of them that there are. Oh my gosh, some serious jumps in there. Oh my god, do y'all see that sweater? Love that. Okay, so I did some calculations and I did it on just one bin. Obviously, all of the bins will be a big process, but this is how I work this out kind of on the spot. First, I do already have a deep understanding of approximately what I can sell things for. I would have been more meticulous and taken more time if I did not already have that, but I do. So what I did here is I made some calculations. There are 6 pieces in here that are a definite yes, and 2 that I calculate can be sold for over 100. In my mind, my yes pile is worth approximately $5 to $10 per piece. Next, I have a pile that's called low resale value. And what that means is it's not a no if the price is right on this entire lot, because a few pieces I would sell, but I also have potential to quickly liquidate, to put them in mystery boxes, to give them to other resellers. So they're not a no, but they're not a yes. Then I have a no pile. I'm not interested in these items. I probably have no use for them other than donation. And then I have an X. An X means that based on condition, these 2 are ineligible for resale, and those need to be physically separated, like moved away, because they're not part of the deal that we're doing right now. So now my focus would be my yeses and my maybes when making a deal. I calculated that my yeses are worth in my business $5 to $10 each, whereas my low resale value in my business are worth $1 to $2 each. So I did some math. There are 6 pieces in that pile, so the high end would make them worth about $30. The low end would make them worth about $30, and the high end, if at 10 each, would make them $60. For my low resale value with 8 pieces in the pile, the low end would be $1 each at A, and the high end would be $2 each at 16. This means my range of what I can pay on the low, or what I'd like to pay on the lowest end would be 38 and the highest end would be 76. And here's where I ask, did you have a price in mind? And if they respond with something around 36, beautiful. We're very close to making a perfect mutually beneficial deal. Although if they say 40, I'm gonna say, okay, could you swing 30? Because that's negotiation and every penny counts. Now, if they say 100, and my absolute highest would be 76, you have two choices. One is to say, okay, and that's your lowest, because I do want to make a deal that's mutually beneficial, but we're pretty far off based on my calculations. Just be transparent, right? That's all that you can do. Or what you might choose to do at this point is you might choose to say, okay, well, I was planning on offering 55 for everything, but if you're not willing to do that, that's totally fine. Maybe we can go through my yes pile individually, one at a time, and see if we can make individual deals. And that is the beauty of having it arranged this way, physically and on paper. Again, do not be afraid to not make a deal. You have to make good business decisions. It can get extra awkward when personal relationships are kind of mixed in, but just do the best that you can and have fun. We have the luxury of having such a fun job with so many sourcing opportunities. If you liked this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you next time, reseller friends. I have a lot to go through.